Welcome to Southwest RAC's Lunch and Learn. We have Amber Richmond today, and she's going to share with us on Microsoft Word how to insert smart art graphics and diagrams. So we are going to go ahead and turn this on over to Amber Richmond. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Pristine. Glad to be here. So I'm going to share my screen really quickly. Right. Oops. Let's leave that one there. Okay. So everything I will be showing you today is up here in our Insert tab. Now, it doesn't matter which Microsoft program you're in. If you're in Microsoft PowerPoint, Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, it's going to be under Insert, and you will find all of these things right here in the illustrations section of the ribbon. First thing I want to talk to you is about smart art. So smart art is really great when you are teaching and you're wanting students to compare and contrast or use these strategies like KWL. So I'm going to go through a few that are really great to use in your classroom. So when we click smart art right here, we get all these different ones, and it starts off on all, and you can kind of scroll through and see them all. And then as you go down, it'll kind of organize them. So all of these are the ones that have to do with lists, processes, cycles, etc. So I want to start off on lists. One of the ones that I find really useful for the classroom is the vertical chevron list. And so let me find that one here. And sometimes like I'll look in here and I won't see what I'm looking for. And in that case, I would just go back to all and I can come here and see them all. But I really like the vertical chevron list. It's this one right here. This is going to, I use this one a lot in my classroom when it came to organizing text, because my students could put like, for their introduction paragraph, they could put introduction paragraph here, and then they could put three main things that they want their paper to be about, and then this could be body paragraph 1, and then the three main sentences they want in their body paragraph, and just something to help students organize information, and they know that one leads into the other. So that is one of my favorite ones. I'm going to go back up here, insert smart art. So the next one that I really like is the flowchart. And so if we go into the list and we come down here, you can see a lot of these can be useful for your writing. For example, the horizontal bulleted list, you could do a KWL chart. Ask students like, what do you already know about this topic? What do you want to know? And then at the end, you can have them go back and fill in what they learned. And so there's a lot of cool things in here. If we go into processes, this is where you get the more one step leads into another. So step 1, step 2, you can put instructions in, and they have to check off things as they go. I really like these blending processes or these flow charts as well, because you can have, step 1, here's what I want you to do. Once you're done with that, then you can go into step 2. It also helps students, they can do sequence of events. So what happened first, next, last. We can also use this in math as well. So this is the first step 1 of solving the equation. And then as soon as they finish step 1, then they go down to step 2 of solving the equation. So you can see there's a lot of really cool, useful smart arts that we can use. Another one that I really like as we're going down here is this funnel. So I like to show students, I like to use this one for like main idea. So we have our huge funnel that is the main idea, and then these are all the details that are going to go into building our main idea. So to kind of help students visualize basic concepts. And the cool thing about smart art is once you have the initial one built just by inserting it, then you can come in here and you can edit it. Say you only want 2 circles. I can click on the circle and I can hit delete. Now we only have 2. Or if I want another one, I can just copy one and I can paste a new one in, and then automatically updates here. I can even come up here and it has some different layout options if I decide I want to change my mind and how that flowchart looks. Or I can even come up here and add a little bit more changing the way it looks. I can change my colors. If I want to change a specific circle, I can click off of the whole thing and say, no, I want this one a specific color, and I can go in and do that as well. I usually do that under the Home tab and change the fill color. So this is for the text color. And then right here is for the fill color. And so whatever I have, I can also right click on it and change the fill color here as well in my quick access toolbar. So I can right click and then I can change the way those look.
Amber,
Yes, sir.
hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I was wondering, can you also attach like pictures?
Yes. So is there a specific one that you're wanting to add pictures to, or are you just wanting to see in
Well,
general?
let's see, I teach science for the most part, and I also teach the Spanish classes. Let's say, for example, if I'm dealing with photosynthesis, just come up with a picture of a plant and maybe the sun. How's that?
Okay. So I don't know, just something like this. We have our cycle. Let's say you want to put a picture here instead of like text.
That's fine.
Okay. So we can come here, and one thing I will do is I'll just find my picture first. So I'm just going to go to like insert online picture,
Uh-huh.
and let's put sun. So I'm just going to pick a picture and insert it.
Okay.
It's going to go
there it is.
real big. So I'm going to size that down a little.
Okay.
And then if I want to move that around, there we go. So if I want to be able to move this, so right now it's kind of stuck and I want to put it on here. So I'm going to take this where it says layout options, and I'm going to move it in front.
How did you get that? Did you right click, left click?
Okay, good question. So when I click on the picture, just
Oh, I
left
see.
click one time and it's going to pop up my layout options
Okay.
right here.
Uh-huh.
And you can also find it in your toolbar in your picture
okay.
formatting as well, right here. But if we move it either behind our Smart Art or in front, I like to move it in front because I don't want the circle to be in front of the sun. So I'm going to move it to the front, and I can bring that over.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. And then if I don't want to see like this white around it as well, I can click remove background right here.
Okay.
And keep the changes. And now I have my sun here. And then if I wanted to, I could delete this bubble. And actually, let's do this. I'm just going to get rid of the text in the bubble. And then I'm going to put my sun in there. Okay, you can also copy the image, and let's put it where my text would go. And I'm going to paste that in there, and then that'll actually copy paste that as the bubble.
Okay, could you repeat that step again, please?
So I have my image here.
All right.
So I'm going to right click on the image and I'm going to copy it.
Okay.
And then I'm going to click. So I just right click, click copy.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm going to click where my text would go and see how I get that flashing cursor to type in it. Then I'm going to right click, go back. Okay. And then I'm going to click my clipboard to paste it in.
Okay.
And then that actually becomes the circle and they can type on it.
Okay, well, that's good. Yeah, actually, I mean, for the most part, I either have my students draw it, but I never thought about using the computer at this point, using an art to represent a topic that I'm teaching. So now with this, I can have my students go to the computer lab and do something like this as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And then they can
see,
do
obviously, as you know, as a teacher, a lot of students, they learn their visuals.
Yes.
So they need to see something in order for them to understand better. Right. Thank you.
And especially if you have bilingual students and stuff, seeing those models and how everything is going to connect in pictures, it's really helpful for them.
You know, the other thing that when you started the lesson here, I did not see the Venn diagram. Do we have it here on our computers?
Yes. So I'm going to go back to Insert Smart Art. And so that's a relational one. So we can click relational, and it actually has a three-way Venn diagram. But when I insert that, let's say I only wanted the two, again, I can
Uh-huh.
just click on the one I don't want, hit delete, and now we have two.
Oh, good. Nice. That looked pretty
And
good.
so, yeah. And so the only thing with this one is like I can type in them, but the overlapping doesn't give me my own. So what I would have my students do is I'd have them insert a text box
Uh-huh.
and then they can put that box
Oh, okay.
in the middle.
Wow.
But again, it's like the picture. So we got to change the
Right.
rainbow, move it to the front, and then we can
Uh-huh.
put it in the middle.
Yeah.
And then students can type in there.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. To kind of show the overlap.
Right.
So that's the only thing about the Venn diagram.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So let me show you a few more
Okay.
that I like to use. I just kind of showed you the cycle.
Right.
So that one's great for like the water cycle, teaching the rock cycle,
Good.
that kind of thing. The next one is the hierarchy. So this is when you have like power structures, or you want to show how things are connected to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So we could use the hierarchy. Get rid of my text box here. So then we can show how like this is the main one and then other things branch off from that.
Yeah.
And so that's one I used a lot. Balance is one that I use a lot. And so, yeah, sometimes it takes time to like go through and see which ones are useful because there are so many in
Right.
here. So that's why I decided
Yeah, there's the pyramids right there. When we talk about the energy pyramids, that would be nice. Wow.
And
There's so many
sometimes I would
things.
just do blank ones and print them out for students to fill in as well.
Right.
You can also share the document and like within small groups, they can fill it out together as a team. It's good team building.
Okay.
But yeah, let's go back to this relational. So this scale one is one that I like to use whenever you're talking about relations and power. And then they can put like the one that has more power on the heavier side to understand how the scale works.
Right.
And when comparing two things, or you could even use it with like periodic table elements to compare them. And then from there, the pyramid is really great for social studies when you're talking about like hierarchy structures, like power structures, who has the most power, who's on top, and then you have like your working class, and then you have like your servant class. So that's one that I used for social studies. And then, so that's, do you have any more questions on the smart art? It's kind of going around and playing with them.
Yeah, it's just like I said, it's just go and explore, play with them, get familiar with them. But I like it. I think from now on, I'm going to start having my students use the computer more often.
And you'll be surprised at what the students will come up with and teach you.
Yeah, they actually, I mean, I tell my students, you guys are a lot smarter when it comes to technology. You guys can teach me. All right.
And they love
So
that.
I can learn from you, but also you see, I like this one because I like to have my students interacting with one another. Be creative. I don't want to be wasting so much paper on making copies. So with this, they can just do it on their own.
And most students are already familiar with Microsoft Word, so it's not like you're starting from scratch. You're just adding a new tool and teaching them how to use it, and then they can use it to develop whatever you want. And so when you do smart art and you click in here, you're going to notice that this pane appears, and this is the only time this pane appears is when you're using smart art. And you can actually type in this pane if you don't want to type on the image itself. So I could do like category 2, and it'll automatically resize so that it looks nice. And then if you did want to move things around, you can actually right click and you can move things up or demote them, and it'll actually switch it in your smart art.
Oh, okay.
So that's something unique to smart art that other just graphics don't have.
Right. Oh, that's good.
It's kind of a cool little feature.
Yes, yes.
And then again, we also get this Smart Art Design tab up here where we can change the way they look. We can add extra bullets and things if we want to. And it'll add more categories as well. And
Okay.
then you also have those demote, promote, move things right, move things left here as
Okay.
well.
And obviously you can add color to it, right?
Oh yeah, we can click change colors
Okay.
right here and it's super easy if you want
There
them
you
all to
go.
be different. And then if you want to get to the more advanced, there's always an option at the bottom where you can customize it how you want.
Uh-huh.
And if we mess up, we can always hit reset graphic and it'll put it back to the way it was at first.
Right.
Here.
Yeah.
All right, so the other two things I wanted to talk about in addition to our Smart Art, the other thing, one of the other things is our 3D models here. So this is something new that was added to Microsoft Word, and it's also in PowerPoint and things. When you click on there, you get some actual animated 3D models.
Uh-huh.
And so like, I'm going to click animated models for education here. There's also one for like chemistry, anatomy. And so I can click it. So let's say I was teaching about, I don't know.
Like tectonics.
Yeah, plate tectonics, sure.
There you
So
go.
I can insert that. And it takes a minute to come in sometimes. Give that a second. And so you can then resize it, but students can
Oh,
watch this little animation. It's going to kind of show how it works. And they can actually click on this little rotation thing in the middle. And it's
uh-huh.
going to let it rotate around and let
Oh,
them explore
nice.
how it works.
I like that. I'm talking about that right now in this like
I'm going to make it a little
tectonics
smaller.
and Pangea and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I like that.
I'm making that smaller so we can actually see it. So yeah, I made it a little too big, but yeah, they can rotate it around and they can
Ooh.
explore it.
Can they add things to it like texts, pictures?
Absolutely.
Ooh.
So we can go in and we can add any of those things that we added before. So they can get it to the view that they want it. So I could even pause that from
Uh-huh.
moving, and then I can rotate it to where I want to see. And then I
Yeah.
can go in and I can insert a text box just like we did on the last one. And again, we want to move it to the front. Click there, move it to the front. And then I can resize it, put it wherever I want. Gotta find where my plate tectonic went down there. And I can put that label right on there and type
All
on it.
right.
And I also can add pictures and things as well.
Wow.
So it's just a matter of getting it formatted, moving things around. And then from there, I could play my animation again if I wanted to as well.
Now, you mentioned something about Microsoft. It doesn't really matter if you have the very old version of Microsoft. Every Microsoft has all this.
Do you want to take that one, Christine?
Yes. These are going to be probably from 2017 on. So if
Okay.
it's a really old version of Microsoft, you would want to use the online version then to get these features.
Okay.
Okay, so if your desktop version has too old of a version, then just go online to
Okay.
Microsoft Online and they'll have all these features and they're
Nice.
free. So,
Beautiful.
so the
Good.
Microsoft Online would be free.
Wow. Yeah, I really like this 3D models thing here.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then the last thing I wanted to show you before our
Now,
time.
I'm sorry, Amber,
No, you're good.
before you move on to another topic, let's imagine that I'm looking for, yes, plate tectonics. Can I type and look for something more specific, like, for example, divergent plate tectonics, transform, convergent, and then what'll give it? Oh, there it is.
Mm-hmm. So
Ooh.
when you go to insert 3D models, yeah, you can search
Okay, good.
and it's going to bring it
Nice.
if it's been made.
That one is not animated though, right?
It is.
Oh,
So,
it
well,
is?
let's find out. Let's insert it and see. So this one, it's the 3D model. They can move it around.
Yeah,
They can kind of see how it works. But yeah, that one's not animated. So
okay,
some of them
now,
are, not all of them.
let's imagine that my students are looking at this picture that you have right now. Can they move parts away, kind of like, like a puzzle? Can they do that? No, right?
There are ways to do it.
Okay,
For me, I would
Okay.
have them bring in 2 of them. And so they can copy paste, just like we did
Okay.
before.
uh-huh,
And then what I would have them do is they can right click and crop one of them,
okay,
and that's going to cut the picture.
okay.
So then I just moved it over, and then I would do the same thing on this one, is I would have right click and have them go to crop. Give me crop. It doesn't want to give it to me. That's okay. I'll go to my drawing, find it. Maybe I'll copy another one and paste it. There we go. Because that one didn't want to give me the crop option.
Okay,
There we go. So yeah, it's because it's 3D.
uh-huh,
Oh, that's why. So I have to paste it as a flat image, and then I can crop it. There you go. That's why. So then I could then take this side,
uh-huh,
and then if you give it to them like that, then they can, and make sure to put one in front, and then they can move that one.
oh, okay. Oh, that's good. And obviously they can label parts, right?
Mhm.
Good,
So this one might be something that you have to prepare ahead of time so that they are able to
Right.
move them.
right,
But again, it's just a matter of getting the view you want here, copying it. And then when I pasted it, I went to this one and that
Uh-huh.
pastes it as an image. So it's no longer manipulated. Like this one's 3D still, but this one's not. This one's just a
Right.
flat image. So
Right.
then I can crop from there.
Okay. Sounds good.
And then I can make them where they can move them around, and then they can add labels and things. And I don't know what age range your students are, but I would say if they're 6th grade and under, I would have those text boxes and things where you want them to type already created, and then they just have to type in them.
Okay. Now, okay, if you want to type something in there, can you show me how?
Sure. I just go to, you can either do, I go to the insert tab, and you
Okay,
can either do text box or this word art, either one.
Okay. So
It depends on,
text box.
yeah. So if it's just a 1-word label, sometimes I'll use word art, but if it's like they need to type a whole definition or sentence, then I would do a text box.
Okay,
That's where I kind of decide which one to use.
okay,
So you're going to click on that. It's going to bring in a random box. And for students, I would just put type here. And then you can resize, click this again. We want to move it to the front. Or in this case, you might want to move it behind, but that it depends on where you're going to put it. See how it goes behind?
yeah,
See if you put it in front, it might.
Yeah,
So
it's gonna-
you just have to kind of decide where you're putting it. So if I wanted to put it right here, then I might put it behind. So
okay,
that way it's not cutting off your picture. But yeah,
Right.
anywhere you want them to type. Also the bad part about putting it behind is sometimes, like, see, now I'm clicking and it clicks on the picture and not the text box. So keep that in mind when you're putting things in front or behind. If it's in front, it's going to be easy to click on, rather than if it's behind, they're going to be clicking on the picture. So
Right.
things like that.
okay.
But as long as you put those boxes, you just need one, and then you can just copy paste that.
Mhm.
And it's going to put it in wherever you want it. It's going to put in more of them.
Okay,
So now I have 2. I can bring in another one. And I just can keep pasting them until I have all the label spots that I want them to. And then you can even go to draw, and you can draw some lines as well, or you can go to insert shapes and do lines as well. So if I want to say, like, point to what is this?
There you go. That's the one.
Uh-huh.
Yes, I like that.
Yeah.
And that is under draw,
Yeah, it's under, well, this one's under insert shapes.
insert.
And then I just pick the line with the arrow.
Okay.
And then from there you can click and draw.
Oh, okay. Well, I like that.
And our last, the last lunch and learn that I did, I went over how to do shapes. Just on the lines like this, you're going to want to make sure that it's weighted thick enough to where the students
Uh-huh.
can see it.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, and we have about 5 minutes left. So the last thing I wanted to show you all is how to insert a chart. So maybe we have
Oh.
some data that we want to put in for our students to analyze. There's all these different graphs and things that we can use. So let's say we wanted to use this one to show them their growth on, I don't know, CFA 1 versus CFA 2, or, you know, where we were on the pre-test compared to the post-test, that kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
We could have line graphs comparing things, pie graphs. And so just pick the way you want it to look and click OK. It's going to bring in that graph. Should probably get rid of all this stuff. Oops. Okay, so I have my chart here.
Mhm.
Then I can go in down here and I can put in their data. So I can name this, maybe it's our test 1. And then we want to compare it to our second test 2. And maybe I want to do, so test 1, and I want to go in and put in all their scores. So maybe this person got a 90, an 80, or I could even average them out as a class. And then we want to compare that to the 100, 75. And then it'll just update your data here.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm. And what I would do sometimes is I would compare my classes. So I would take like the class average and I would have like first hour. And then first hour can now compete against second hour. And they can say, oh, okay, we want to beat them next time. So we're going to do better on our end of the week test. So yeah, this is just, you guys can add as many numbers as you want in here. You could put the whole class's grades in if you wanted to. And it's going to compare them all. And so just a quick, easy way to make graphs without going through all of the hassle.
Right.
And a lot of times you can copy paste scores right from your grading system, your platform, whichever one you use, and you can just take those numbers. A lot of times you can export them as like a Word doc or something, or Excel doc, and then you can just copy paste them in.
Okay. Yeah.
So easy way to make graphs and charts and keep track of data.
Yeah, I like that.
And then once you have your data and the way it looks, you can just exit out of this. You can double click on anything to change it here. We could change the way it looks. We can change the colorings. And again, if you want to do custom colors, like you can click on individual parts as well to change those custom one at a time. So I could do different ones. So I could just write, like if I want to change this one, I can right click on it and I could say, let's do this outline and let's do this fill. And I could do whatever color I want, like if I want green, yellow, red.
Amber, also, I remember me doing something like this, but on the top of each bar, let's say, for example, on the first one, the green one that you have, let's say, for example, what is it, a 90?
Mm-hmm.
You can put the 90 on top of that bar, right?
Yes, so just come down here. There's some different options. And I believe, and if I don't see it here, we can add it. I would always find the one that had it built in, but we can always add other, like we can do labels and choose how we want them. There we go. So you can choose a data label. You go to add chart element, data label, and then I believe it's outside end.
Yeah, there it is, right there.
And then it pops it in.
Yeah, yeah.
And if I wanted to add it that one, I had just the one selected, so it only did it on the one, but you can do it on, just select the one you want to show up on and it'll pop it in.
Yeah, I like that. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And again, Any element on here, you can always double click it as well. And then that's going to let you type right on it.
Right. Yeah, my problem is that if I don't use certain computer activities that often, I tend to forget about them.
Yeah.
So I need to keep up with my knowledge when it comes to technology. So yeah, this is one of them, the bar graphs. I said, oh my God, I've done it before, but how do I put the number on top, or how do I change this or that? And I said, oh my God, I'm playing with it.
Yeah, so if you click on your chart that you made, there's two hidden, you'll notice that these tabs aren't here, but when I click on the chart, these two tabs pop up. So this is where you go to modify anything in your chart. So you can come here, change all the colors. If you want to edit your data, there's a button for that. If say, oh, my data was wrong, I need to go back and change it, it brings that back. But again, you want to add anything, it's going to be under add chart elements.
Yeah, add chart elements.
And you can even, if you change your mind, I think a pie graph would be better for this. You can change the chart type here as well, and it'll keep your data.
Yeah.
It'll switch the type.
Perfect.
And then there's format, and that lets you do like custom special effects, like if you want to have a shadow or make something glow.
Yeah, right.
Or change your individual colors would be format, but if overall chart design for adding elements and things. All right.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Well, that's about time for our lunch and learn today. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing and give it back to Christine.
Thank you, Amber.
You're welcome.
Well, I'm so glad that you took the time to join us today. And if you need a refresher, then you can always go to our Tech Bytes YouTube channel. This will be posted up there forever, however long YouTube lasts.
Right. So let me ask you this. So do you ladies offer this short trainings every year?
We do these every other week. And so we have the 12 o'clock lunch and learn. So they're just like little bites, little snippets. And then we also have 1 hour trainings, 7:30 and at 3:30 for something that's more ed tech, maybe a new program or something like that. So we offer those as well. And so we have a schedule right on our website so that you know what's coming up.
Good.
And we are also part of the New Mexico Tech Initiative. And so we're partnering with all of the RECs so that we have just a ton of different offerings that we can provide to everybody. Some free professional development, kind of like just going down the hall to your teacher down the hall that's helping you out. So it's nothing that's real polished and pretty. But it's just all of the teachers that are trying to help each other out. And so we have a lot to offer everybody. And so I just try to help each other out.
You don't offer anything right after school, right? Like around 4 o'clock?
We have the 3:30 to 4:30 are ours, and then we record them all because, you know, timing for everybody is just so difficult.
Right.
And each one is each REC offers them at different times, different dates and things like that. But that's why we record them, just so that, you know, if you can't make it live, you can at least watch the recordings. And then if you have any questions at all, you can always contact us and we'll be glad to help you, or even jump on Zoom meetings. We've been known to do that as well. So we'll jump on a Zoom session with someone at their convenience and help them out.
Well, that's a good thing that you told me this, that you guys record your lessons. So that's a good idea, because sometimes we're teaching or we're doing something else. We don't have the time to attend. So I can, right after school, I can just go home, relax, and watch all your recorded lessons.
Yes. So if you go to our website, just go to the Tech Bytes section, and there will be links to go to the YouTube channel, and all of them, I upload them. I try to get them the same day, but sometimes it's the very next day. Right. But they're all there that we've recorded.
Okay, sounds good.
Great. Again, thanks for joining us, and we hope to see you again.
Thank you, ladies. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.